A delightfully cool morning here at Circuit of the Americas, just outside of legendary Austin, Texas, as we are getting set for the third race of a very busy weekend in Pirelli GT4 America Sprint Competition, the 14th round of the championship about to unfold at this mesmerizing venue. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish, Ryan Marine, down trackside for us and in pit lane. And as we're taking a look at some of the iconic corners, and you see the field starting to form up down in the pre-grid area, we want to give you an up-close and personal look of this remarkable circuit. This weekend, Jan Halen is here driving the GT3 Wright Motorsports Porsche, and he's going to give you a fabulous look at this track.
My name is Jan Halen. I'm here at Cota with Wright Motorsports in the Porsche GT3R, getting ready to start a lap, coming onto the front straightaway now, approaching the start-finish line. Fifth gear, reaching 150 mile an hour, hard on the brakes at the 100 sign, big brake zone, lots of opportunity to overtake. Down the hill into turn 2, 130 mile an hour, really fun corner, really feeling the downforce here of these GT3 cars. And then into the famous S's here at Cota. Hard on the brakes, rolling a lot of speed, fourth gear, down to third, hard on the curbing, back to power, setting up for turn 7, third gear, just a little lift, back to power, turn 8, down to second gear, and then up the hill, turn 9, lots of curbing on the inside and on the outside, going down the hill, setting up for turn 11, again one of the better places to overtake, very wide on the entry, down the first gear, and then working on a good exit to get onto the back straightaway. Fastest, longest straightaway on the track here at Cota, reaching 160 mile an hour in sixth gear. Again, good opportunity to overtake. Going into turn 12, braking at the 120 sign. Down the first gear again, using up all the curbing on the exit. From first up to third, down to first gear again, hard on the brakes, very slow section of the track here, up to third again, approaching the slowest corner of the track, the hairpin here, turn 15, and then setting up for the carousel, double right-hander, lots of power on the way in, just a small lift and then back to power, 100 mile an hour at the center, lining up for turn 19, lots of curbing there on the exit. Lots of track limits being called. Make sure we keep two wheels on the curbing, and then down the first gear for turn 20, last corner coming onto the front straightaway, and that was a lap at Cota.
Boy, and what a lap it was is around here. As you can see, the Acura NSX safety vehicle, the official safety vehicle of SRO Motorsports America, bringing the field out. And Cal, you watch that onboard, and one thing that strikes me a little bit, this track, the twisty bits were designed obviously for very high horsepower and very high downforce cars. Relaxing the regulations on the track limits a little bit has made this a lot more drivable and pleasurable for GT cars, hasn't it?
I think it really has. When we first came here, I actually found the S's a little bit awkward in cars that don't have the downforce of a Grand Prix Formula One car, but now they've eased the curbing a little bit. It's a little bit flatter, and the stewards are allowed to use a bit more of that red and white curbing. It flows so much better, and it's more enjoyable to watch and to race, certainly, and the cars don't give up as much as well.
Yeah, the racing has been just marvelous thus far this weekend, in part certainly because of exactly that. Third member of our team is Ryan Marine, of course, and let's hear what's happening down in pit lane.
Good morning, guys. I wanted to give an update on two cars that were involved in an accident yesterday in race number 2 of the weekend of sprint competition. Unfortunately, both Mark Clinton's Sin R1 as well as Frank Gannett's Ford Mustang are not going to be able to take the green here today. Pretty significant contact. As far as Clinton's car is concerned, it's in a pretty sorry state, I'm afraid to say, in one of the garages here along pit lane. Meanwhile, speaking to the Ian Lacey Racing crew about Frank Gannett's car, the frame on that was bent, and so they're already working hard to try and source a new car, looking ahead to the next and final round of the championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're quite confident they can do so. They think they've got a lead on that already, but no Frank Gannett, unfortunately, or Mark Clinton in the race today. And for the Ian Lacey Racing team, that means all focus is on Drew Stavely, the birthday boy here today, guys. He gave Michael Cooper a great fight yesterday, wants desperately to take another overall win in his first year here in the pro class. Had a great run the first time we were here at Circuit of the Americas, a great drive yesterday as well. Curious to see what kind of fight he's got for Michael Cooper today.
All right, yes, thank you very much, Ryan Marine. And of course, Ryan recently won a Champ Car race at Indy, which is a big thing for him. And on top of it, I understand it's his birthday today, so a couple of birthday boys to celebrate here. And of course, for Drew Stavely.
I would have bought the coffees if I'd known that, Greg.
I know, I feel just terrible about it.
Not
well, you did let him sit up front, though. Yeah, Drew Stavely put on such a remarkable run yesterday, and in the end, Cooper had laid back and took care of his tires like Michael does, and you wonder what kind of tweaks were done on these machines here over the evening.
Well, they were so evenly matched yesterday, so if there have been some changes, certainly any subtlety to the improvement could make the difference here today, I feel.
And then the battle we saw yesterday, that second row of the grid, once again filled, it's all Reardon Aston Martin with Jeff Burton earning his third pole of the season, and Paul Terry, who won earlier this weekend, sitting alongside. And they put on an absolutely exceptional show yesterday in their battle, and fierce, intense, clean.
Yeah, it really was. It was a barn burner of a race, and very important for Paul Terry to get that win and maximize the point score, with Michael Dinan, our championship leader, having to miss yesterday's race. So there you see in the very back of the field there, Michael Dinan returns, having not set a lap yesterday. That means he does not have a qualifying time. He'll start this race from the back of the field. He still has a very impressive 57-point lead on the back of 9 wins this year. So he's had quite the season put together. For him to clinch here today, unofficially, I think if he finished second, even if Paul Terry wins, that will give him a 50-point lead. And that will mean that he can only be tied in the points, and he would win the tiebreak with so many victories on the season going to Indy.
He's had an absolutely great year for sure, and you saw a look there at Jason Bell in the number 2 GMG Racing Porsche. He has been on form this weekend. He and his teammate Andrew Davis winning the GT4 Sprint X race overall yesterday, and he's also put another podium up in the books as well here this weekend. So he's really sharp. Finished second in this race, or third in this race yesterday. He's getting feisty.
He really is. It was a great run yesterday to Andrew Davis turned the car over to him, and he just brought it home for that victory in Sprint X competition. And then running in third, it looked like Tony Gaples, maybe Quinlan was going to catch him. Not so. He just got the hammer down and secured that third place finish yesterday. So he's very much on form, probably riding a high. Hopefully he didn't celebrate too much last evening, and he's ready to go.
And keep an eye, too, on the second of those black dog McLarens. Tony Gaples obviously had that shunt in the first race on Friday. Started the second race way at the back, fought his way up, and finished in 4th place in the class. And on the way, set a really good lap. He will start third. And Tony is he's just on form since he's come back this year.
Yeah, he started off the year with a couple of podiums right here at Cota. Then he had the big gap where he had the eye surgery and came back at Road America, swept the podiums there in terms of 5 for the year, and just missed out yesterday. And, you know, he wants to get back and join his teammate who's celebrating that sprint championship as well, Michael Cooper.
It was funny, as we were leaving the track yesterday, we ran into both of the Reardon boys, Jeff Burton and Paul Terry, and congratulated them on the sweep for the team and this and that. And they said, yeah, 1-2 is absolutely great. And almost in unison, they both said, but the wrong guy won. I think they're going to put on another great show today. And
that's what it's all about, though, the camaraderie, particularly between teammates, to race each other clean and have a fun race like they did. Burton had the lead for a lot of the race. Paul put a nice move on him, sort of squeezing down to the inside in turn 20 and sealed the deal by the time they got to the brakes for turn 1.
Lights are out on the Acura NSX, so they're getting ready to go. Once again, this is sprint format racing, so no pit stop, single driver. 50 minutes in duration for this 14th round of the championship. Only 2 to go after this, as you've alluded to. And but he wants to just keep this momentum going, and on top of that, put on a great show. And it's going to be interesting to see what Stavely does.
Well, he was very determined yesterday and got the initial jump on Michael Cooper. Michael will have registered there. He said, I thought the pole sitter was going to determine when we went, but Drew got a slightly better start and managed to get the lead by the time they got to turn 2. Took a while, but he got there.
All right, here we go onto the front straight. Remember, we're at that white line they're crossing right now. That's the finish and timing line, but the start comes underneath this scaffolding. You can see our starter right there, ready. Green flag flies. And Michael making no delay this time. He was moving immediately. Look at the two rear-end cars side by side. Look at Stavely way down to the inside.
Ooh, that was close. That was
incredible.
really close. He was late on the brakes. Burton gets the lead in AM. Michael Dinan taking his time at the back of the field there, but he's made a move. Now he cuts inside Jason Bell as well. Up 2 spots immediately.
It's just the lightest of touches between Burton and Terry, and it was just that Burton had to check up a little bit as it got really tight, as you said, between Cooper and Stavely. And then there, Tony Gables hanging on to that third-place qualifying spot, but then it's Quinlan, and then right behind him, as you said, is Dinan. Ooh,
that was
big
close.
slide.
Cuts over the curb and nearly gets into the back of Quinlan's BMW there.
Sprint X race yesterday, and there was a little contact between himself and James Walker Jr., and I'm sure Quinlan just is thinking, I want a clean one here. Dinan thinks again, looks, and tucks back in.
Tell you what, I think I'm waiting to see that replay at the start. I think Drew Stavely was really close to Michael Cooper there. He dived to the inside, a little dirtier part of the racetrack, and probably got into the ABS, and suddenly as Michael went for the apex, he barely missed him.
Yeah, it was incredibly close. All right, first time down the long back straight here. Ooh, real squirrely on the brakes for Burton, but he hangs on to it.
Might have just touched the curbing there as he got on the brakes on the right-hand side. Manages to catch it. Cowboying up, as they like to say in that camp, right?
They do indeed. And it's going to be interesting here now for Stavely. When Cooper gets in the front, he's a master of controlling things. Trying to take another look at Cooper.
He's looking super aggressive here. He wants to make some moves and get on the tail of those red and racing Aston Martins, as well as trying to make a move on Tony Gables, who runs in the 3rd spot with a good first lap.
Quinlan in 4th, Dinan in the 5th spot. Dinan now trying to get up on the outside. Quinlan now he's going to square and try and get the drive down. Watch for the pop here. It looks a couple of times thought about it and tucks back in again.
Yeah, a little bit of indecision right now. A couple of moves he's thought about and just think, got to be cautious here. I'm sure the team is saying, you know what, 2nd place seals it today. Don't get too aggressive early. It's 50 minutes to work with, but you can see that front trio streaking away a little bit.
Absolutely. And, it's early in the race, and those little bits of indecision later on in the race, I think that would have been a lot more decisive. But at this point, he's every one of those little jukes. That's the computer in his head that's assessing risk versus reward, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, just not quite there. Just doesn't feel he's quite close enough to be assured of making a clean move. So he's probably doing the right thing. It just looks a bit awkward right now.
Exactly. It's kind of a no kind of scenario here. Pressed once again with Burton, hangs right with Cooper and Stavely.
Yeah, which
and
is
Gable
so
taking a
impressive.
run on Terry here.
Yeah, to see him keeping up with that pro duo up front of Cooper and Stavely. Great job by Jeff Burton.
Dinan's through on Quinlan now.
Jason Bell gets a run down to the inside, not quite close enough. Quinlan gives him a lane in case he tries to go for it, and Jason hops over the curb there. Hall doing a nice job hanging tough as well.
He sure is, Hall. This is only his 2nd weekend of pro racing at all, and that hopping that curb plus that tight angle for Bell really didn't do him any favors getting onto this long back stretch. And here is Gables trying to come down the inside of Terry. Can't quite get it done.
And McLaren is pretty strong in the straightaway, so Tony's really close to this red and racing machine, and got the launch off at turn 11. Looked like he was in position to make the move. Paul Terry super determined, though, to hang on. He knows he's got to try and keep this championship alive to Indianapolis. To do that, he needs to basically have an 8-point margin over Dinan. That's going to be tough to do. He needs to maximize his score. I'm not sure if he's willing to buy Jeff Burton dinner tonight and trade spots at the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see.
And that figure you came up with of Dinan, if he finishes 2nd, he clinches. That's assuming Terry wins. So if Terry doesn't win, that opens up the margin a lot for Michael, doesn't it?
It sure does. That's the big swing in points. 1st to 2nd is 7 points. So that would still equal them on points. But here we see Drew Stavely tucked right into the back of that McLaren. He's keeping it tight here today. Michael yesterday just seemed very determined to try and control the race in the early going. When Stavely got the jump on him, he really made some big moves to try and get the lead, but ultimately then used patience and time managed to make the move very late in the going.
I'm wondering what the mindset is for Drew here. Is you know, Michael, if he gets to the front, then drives. Ooh, well, there's a look at the mindset. He's going to go after it. If Michael gets to the front, like I said, and then just slows down a little bit to try and save tires, I wonder if, given opportunity, is Stavely going to go for any gap? And he almost went for one there.
He did. His car looks really hooked up right now. He's able to carve these corners a little bit more effectively than Michael's McLaren. So we'll have to wait and see on the long run how this pans out. But right now, I'd say Stavely has the better machine underneath him.
All right, here we go. Launch out of 11. This back straight here is a long one.
Well, looking at the track limits there, red and white is all right, and I don't think there were many who are actually on the red and white with their Pirelli P0s. They're exiting turn 11, so they may get a warning on that. Going to get a penalty in qualifying pretty quick. They'll let them go a little bit in the race, but if they continue to abuse those track limits, is potential for a drive-through, so they've got to be careful.
That's really the only option during the race, isn't it? I mean, you might, in qualifying, they can just take whatever that lap was away. But during the race, there's not a lot of you can do otherwise. Taking a look here, fastest lap of the race now set by Stavely. So he has that CrowdStrike fast lap, at least for now, to 2:17.878.
Jason Bell looking racy once again, trying to make a move on Sean Quinlan there. Just lost a little bit of momentum and exit speed off at turn 15, the slowest corner on the racetrack. Trying to regroup.
I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing in the back there from Jason Hall, just hanging with a driver who's been at this a long time in the pro ranks, still an AM, but very experienced one in Jason Bell, and Jason Hall is right there with him. Boy, and this little mono duel now has taken them a bit clear of Jeff Burton, and that Burton Lumber right there, that sort of reddish copper and black Aston Martin.
And up that front stretch with that big elevation change, 133 feet up to turn 1. Seems like Stavely's able to hang with Michaelis down the back stretch. Certainly yesterday we saw that McLaren had a distinct advantage. To wait and see what's going on here today.
Well, you remember that pass for the lead. Michael had cleared him well before he got to the braking zone on that pass, so it gives you an idea of just how stout that McLaren is in a straight line.
See the Mustang moving around a lot more over the curbing, but still very compliant and still got the grip, most importantly.
He got a run. Stavely did. He's straightened up that chicane a little bit better. See if he takes advantage of it. Looks to the inside. Michael covers. Now Drew is going to try and open that radius up and put that big V8 to good use here.
He's got a big run.
Yeah, he did.
Pretty even there coming off. See how it looks as they get towards the this last third of the straightaway where the McLaren looks really strong. And
Terry's all over Burton right now. They made up a lot of ground. He's bringing Gaples with him, and Stavely not close enough to do anything down into 12. Terry being nicely circumspect right now. Watching this little scrabble here, it looks like it's settling in. Ryan, what are you hearing about Drew?
Well, the team has told me it's an interesting dynamic between this Mustang and the McLaren. There's one sector, the first sector of the track, they feel like it's pretty even. The second sector, they think the McLaren has a pretty sizable edge. But the third sector, they think the Mustang has an edge. So it's fun watching the ebb and flow between these cars around this track, the different sectors suiting different race cars. The other thing is they've been chasing an issue with stability on power down for this Mustang of Stavely, and they feel like they've really gotten their heads around it as the weekend has gone along. This is the best the car has felt. They're a little bit surprised they're as competitive as they are relative to the McLaren here today, given the cooler temperature. They think that should help the turbocharged McLaren to be better than their naturally aspirated Mustang, but nevertheless, you can see Drew's pretty happy with this race car, putting a lot of pressure on Cooper here for the lead.
Yeah, he is exactly that, and really hounding him at this stage. Cooper just has enough, and that talk about the various sectors. When your best sector is one where it's a straight line into the best passing zone on the track, that's really helpful.
Yeah, and that middle sector is obviously the completion here of the S's. We're in sector 2 right now. It starts halfway through the S's and then finishes into the brake zone for turn 12. So Drew's car is hooked up through this sector here, and certainly Michael was a little bit stronger at the end of the straightaway. But talking about power down, we noticed that late in the run yesterday. Yes, we had that early caution with the incident with Clennon and Frank Gannett, so that meant that the long green flag run they typically have to get through was not so long yesterday with a reprieve at the beginning, but certainly at the end of the race, Staley was getting the power down very effectively, not getting any traction issues coming off the low-speed corners. Same thing today.
You look back at this battle for AM, it is quickly going to become a 4-car battle for the lead. Burton and Terry and the 2 Reardon Aston Martins, then Gaples in the second Black Dog McLaren, and here comes Tony taking a look. Down on the inside of Terry, not quite close enough.
Yeah, I think if he's going to make that move, he should try and just be 1 lane over versus 2 lanes over. He's in the middle of the road, and that makes it really difficult, A, for Paul Terry to even see him. That's a little bit dirtier over there. You're not going to have the amount of grip where the rubber's been put down. So I'd just try and close that lane down a little bit and allow Paul Terry to see you so it doesn't get awkward at apex in case he's a little bit more alongside.
Well, we've talked about it before, and Chief Stewart in another series, it's a good friend of ours, that talked about how you present your car when you're going to make that pass. And you don't want to telegraph you're going to do it, obviously, but you do when you make the move. You want to be in a position where the driver you're overtaking can see you in the mirror so that he doesn't turn in and hit you in another late move. Boy, that's copy and paste for Terry, just diving to the apex down at 20, and it is a drag race. And Terry officially now leads in the AM category, and boy, he makes that late braking move into 20 work.
He really does, and you called it cut and paste from yesterday. He actually cleared Burton a little bit earlier. They were fighting all the way to turn 1 yesterday, so he's made that move. He's got to the front. He can see in his rearview mirror that Michael Dinan has made some moves. He's up to 4th. He's now starting to run very fast lap times as well, so he's closed in on this trio. First man up is Tony Gaples. He's got to try and clear, get onto the podium initially, and then chase down Paul Terry and Jeff Burton.
And obviously Burton not in with a chance at the championship, but second in the points would be good, but he's certainly not going to close the door and affect Terry's, even though it's remote, but still technically a chance at a title here. Dinan attacking on, wow, did Dinan rotate that Aston Martin through turn 8?
Well, the key is, I mean, a 50-point lead if Michael does get up there, you know, is massive, 50-plus points, but if he doesn't, you know, equalize that point score, you know, and if everything's up for grabs, you go to Indianapolis as a doubleheader, you have a technical issue, you could have an incident in that first day, suddenly you get a 0-point score. So it's still on.
Oh,
you know,
it is.
Terry's got to do everything he can, which he's doing right now, leading this race, trying to maximize the score. And now he's relying on his teammate, Jeff Burton, to keep Tony Gaples and then Michael Dinan out of that second position. He's got a wingman, he needs to use him.
And I think Burton will fill that role as best as he possibly can. Burton wants to win as well, so pretty good. Big rotation there by Burton.
He's not afraid to throw it around a little bit. Tony Gaples really doing a nice job. That little squirmy coming off of turn 15 as he tried to get the power down early to chase down these Astons. So
look at the Reardon team. Enjoying what they're seeing up front here, but I'm sure they've been on pins and needles here. Terry in the Paul Terry trucking entry. Dinan takes a peek this time. Gave the indecisive move and then just decided to, well, I watched Paul Terry do it. Maybe I can make that work, and he's through. What did he swing way over early?
Yeah, that's a little bizarre in terms of going that extreme. Driver's left is very dusty and dirty over there. It's probably going to dirty up your tires a little bit by the time you get to the brake zone. But nonetheless, he wanted to certainly make his intentions known in terms of being proactive with picking that side of the racetrack.
Yeah, but it being that tight all the way in, and you watch Gaples way out wide, just squared, got to the power. He got that nose almost alongside him.
He did. But now it's reset time, get back into a rhythm. He'd been running really quick lap times and chase down the leaders. So I believe Michael Dinan's got the pace to catch the Reardon Racing Aston Martins. Then how aggressive does he want to be?
Cooper, by the way, just setting new fast lap at a 2:17.59. And Stavely had been resetting it fairly frequently, but now it goes to Cooper. Stavely staying with him, and look how quickly Dinan is closing. You are spot on, Cal.
He is right there as we look at the fastest speed traps. with race vision powered by AWS, and it is Tony Gaples, just like yesterday at McLaren. Very, very strong there, almost 155 miles per hour.
Did you just see a puff of smoke at the back of Tony's car as he exited 11? Maybe it was just some dust or something that came up, but he did have that contact in that first race. Didn't affect him at all yesterday. Had a great drive, so we'll keep an eye on that. This race vision powered by AWS also have fastest speed through the S's, and it's a really cool program that's being developed on the fly. So you're seeing really the very first early stages of it. It's already been really fun to track, but we can take the fastest speed through the S's. We hear there's going to be a late, who's latest on the brakes kind of thing, and it utilizes the AWS cloud. The data streams up to the cloud, then there's elements within that AWS cloud that processes all of it, sends it back down, and presents it on the screen for us to be able to enjoy. So big thanks to AWS. They just really continue to step up their involvement in the series and on the technical data side, making things really interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool technology. Great to get that insight as to what everyone's doing around the racetrack in various spots.
Tony's dropped off.
Really dropped back here.
I wonder if there may not be something. Maybe that was a little bit of smoke. Looking at Dynan's last lap, Cal, at 2:18.5. Burton's and Terry's a little bit quicker at 2:18.3s, but Tony, look at that, at 2:24.
I'm not sure if he had a big moment somewhere through the second part of that lap to lose that big chunk of time. He's running healthy right now. Don't see any smoke, so.
Let's watch if we're on him when they exit turn 11. That's where I saw it last, where I thought I saw it. Quinlan seeing some opportunity. There is the Black Dog team. Ray Sorensen right there in front with the gray face mask, who he helms a mighty impressive and tight ship.
He does. It's a great group. So much experience there. Mark Wider doing the engineering. Timmy Coffeen, who was with Newman Haas Champ Car team for so many years. Just tons of experience. Congratulations to that whole group. Rick Whitesides used to work with my team when I ran Formula Atlantic with Comprep and Dennis Eade up in the Barrington, North Chicago suburbs area. So pretty cool group. Been together a long time and really deliver great cars for both Michael Cooper and Tony Gaples on a consistent basis.
They sure do. Have to eat a little crow here and really watch Tony on the edge of the 11 that time. And I think what I was seeing on the underside of the diffuser was the reflection of the white part of the curbs. He's going and it just was flashing as he drove over it, I think. So let's hope so. Don't want to have any problems here. And Cooper, that last lap, though, Stately a 10th quicker than Cooper.
He's hanging with him, but it always seems like Michael's got the ace up his sleeve to throw on the table in the late going. 10 wins on the year, won 9 of the last 10. But they've all been pretty tight.
Yeah. Well, and Michael is just, he's savvy and he understands, being patient when you need to be patient, doing what you have to do. But he also has this ability, as do all the great drivers, to just extract everything that the car can ask for you. And on occasion, if you need a little bit more, to be able to pick it up and carry it just a little bit. And we've marveled over the years at his ability on cold tires on opening laps. And but he's that good throughout the race. But Drew is doing a brilliant job. Remember, this is Drew's first season as a pro.
Yeah, but as we said yesterday, he made his intentions perfectly clear with the opening round of the championship when he beat both Pompelli and Cooper to the win. He was madly disappointed when he didn't sweep the opening round of the season. So, ton of podium positions, obviously, but he's probably a little bit frustrated. I think he did such a great job yesterday to still come up a little bit shy, but he's dug deep. Like might have tweaked on the car overnight. It's been very strong here this morning.
Sticking right with. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, Burton looked like he got around Terry, and then they go side by side in a drag race.
And that's going to help Dynan. You would think if he can get close enough to pick up that double toe.
Yeah, they need to play nice, otherwise Michael Dynan will pounce. And again, second place would clinch it. with a tiebreaker, even if they do come out of this round with a 50-point lead for Michael Dinan.
Right at the end there, Burton just opened it up a little bit. They certainly don't want to touch each other.
Certainly make a great ad for Aston Martin Racing. Looking at these three duking it out for the lead.
Terry was way wide there, but he was able to carry some speed in doing so, didn't he?
I think all three of them had every inch of the racetrack covered there.
I think you're absolutely right. Gable's hanging on in fourth over Quinlan.
Whatever happened there, if there was a technical glitch, maybe Tony had to reset something on the car, but he seems to be running decent lap times again.
Yeah, right down the 219s.
You can hear the tire squeal there, and Burton's around. That is so crucial in terms of the championship. Even if Terry wins, if Michael Dinan runs in this position, that will give him the title here today. Wow.
Yeah. Both Quinlan and Gables were bearing down on Burton, but I think there was enough room, and he is now dead stick right on the track. So if he can't get this started, there he goes. Got it restarted, moved it, and we will stay green. But take another look at it here, Cal. You can hear it.
Yeah, you could hear it as he was coming through turn 19. You could hear the tire squeal, and then it turns on him right there. Luckily for Michael Dinan, he had that extra room over to the right-hand side to make that move and miss him.
That's a good point. If he collected Michael, that changed things up just a little bit. So as we watch now, Paul Terry come through with Dinan closing in. We've been wondering if there's something up with Tony Gables. What are you hearing, Brian?
According to the team, Tony hit kind of a false neutral situation. The thing that they're not sure about is whether or not it's reoccurring or just a one-off. Haven't heard from Tony on the radio in the last couple of laps, so not a lot of recent information there, but as you pointed out, it looks like the lap times are coming back. So hopefully it was just a one-off occurrence and it won't be a problem for him for the remaining 27 minutes and change.
Maybe if he didn't have drive as he accelerated off at turn 11 that lap, that could have been what you've seen. Suddenly exhaust smoke where the car's in neutral and he's flat on the power.
I got confirmation from one of the media members here at the track that also said they saw it and said it definitely was a little puff of smoke, but that would make sense as the way that you explained it there. So he's right back into the pace here. And fending off Sean Quinlan.
Yeah, this is the battle for the final podium spot with Jeff Burton's spin there.
Yeah, Burton took him a while to get restarted, so he's way back at this stage. You have to mount a remarkable charge here to get back up into even a top 5, I think.
Yeah, he would. Quinlan's had a strong weekend here. He's had 3 podiums on the season, including one here on Friday in the first round of a triple-header weekend. Tony Gables, as we mentioned, 5 podiums on the season, despite missing a bunch of races with double eye surgery through the summer months.
Stavely just absolutely refusing to let that margin blossom at any level. And you know, we get into that final 20 minutes, maybe even final 15. That's when if Cooper has been controlling things, driving just fast enough to lead, not hurting his tires, you might expect him to drive away a little bit. If we get into that final 10 minutes and Stavely's still there, this could get interesting.
Yeah, Michael's just so calm. I mean, he just really has the ability to be up on the wheel. I mean, and we talked about it yesterday in terms of the level that both of those guys are running at. And we had the same thing when Spencer was running in the championship as well, Pumpelly, that they're executing at the highest level. So sometimes it just looks like follow the leader, but boy, oh boy, they are really wringing the car's necks all season long.
Right here, watch. Oh, he got to that outside curb.
Yeah, that just got him a little bit of yaw there.
Yeah.
He couldn't quite catch it. He's been doing that a lot this weekend around this racetrack, using every inch of the road a little bit more, and it just caught him out at that time.
But he certainly is willing to use every piece of the racetrack. And, as you said, didn't really work for him that time, but it certainly has at other points here. Of course, not just the weekend, but the season. Big win in Sonoma for him as well, so I'm sure that's going to upset him. One, takes him out of any shot at a potential win, but also, you know, takes away the opportunity for him to help his friend Paul Terry.
Yeah, curious to know what the Flying Lizard Motorsport team are going to tell Michael Dinan in terms of how to manage the second half of this race. Halfway point right now, 25 minutes on the board. And by running in the second position, our math shows that that would be enough. He would come out of this round with a 50-point lead and only 50 points on the table at Indianapolis, and he has the tiebreaker due to how many wins he's had on the season.
That last lap, Terry turned a 2:18.9 to Dinan's 2:19.2. Quinlan way down to the inside on Gaples. I think Tony thought Quinlan might be coming over a little bit more than he did, and gave him more room than he had to.
Yeah, nice racing there between the two boys.
Truly.
Giving each other plenty of room. Have a little reset and go after it.
This would be interesting. Tony got, I think, a little bit better run out of turn 20. See if he could do anything up here into turn 1. Likes to pop to the outside and again open that angle up.
Staveley's crew looking at the data, just trying to figure out if he's got anything left for Michael Cooper here in the second half of the race. This battle for the final podium spot intensifies in the AM class.
Boy, Cooper now just set fast lap again, Cal, 2:17.5.
Yeah, that's impressive. But Staveley's still right there. He set a personal best at a 2:17.6, so only a 1/10 of a second slower than Michael Cooper right now, but it's just showcasing how they're managing their tires. As the fuel load is going away, the time's getting just that little bit quicker.
Well, if you're doing the job of, as you said, taking care of those tires, technically the car should get a little more responsive and faster every lap. But if you have abused your tires, the car being a little lighter isn't going to make up for lack of grip. And these guys are doing, everybody seems to be doing, you know, we're seeing personal bests deep into this race. So all of these guys are doing a really nice job.
Yeah, and again, Roddy P0 is just really hanging tough around a very demanding race circuit. Lots of load. Tony's working Sean over here. See that?
Did you see that puff of smoke
yes.
again?
I mean, he really turned a lot of steering angle into the car, so loose there coming off the corner.
I think that was just burnout smoke from that unweighted rear tire on that one, but we're definitely seeing little bits of smoke here and there.
Tell you what, Bell and Hall aren't that far behind, are they? They're right there.
Well, with Quinlan, you know, now going into big defense mode and everything, looking at those times, the times are up and out. They're into the 2:21s, while Hall and Bell are running 2:19s.
Yeah. Great job by Jason Hall. This is a really strong run from him this morning.
Well, here comes Tony now down to the inside. Turn 1. Quinlan going to try and just use that wider exit to flow some speed. But looks like Tony has gone through, and Jason Hall has gotten around Jason Bell. Jason Hall's doing a superb job. I'm sure his friend and coach Jason Hart from NOLA Sport is spotting from somewhere up here with a big grin on his face.
Yeah. Great little battle here between the two Caymans. Look at Jason Hall really up on the wheel. Car's really twitchy there, trying to find a little bit more grip and speed. Wow, he is hustling.
He sure is.
It's cool to watch. Watch his white gloves there working on that wheel.
Ooh, Bell trying to carry every bit of speed through the exit at turn 9.
All these drivers really into a nice rhythm now at the halfway point, and Hall looks to the inside of Quinlan there. Looks like he's able to roll a little bit more minimum speed through that very tight turn 11.
Here we go. Battle is on. After Terry set some quick laps, Dinan just uncorked a 2:18.5 on that last lap, Cal, and has glued himself to the rear deck of that rear Aston Martin.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be content just to sit there and clinch the championship, but he'd love to do it in style, Michael Dinan, and maybe grab the win. Oh, there's contact down in turn 12, it looks like.
Quinlan
got hit there yesterday.
That left front looks
left
broken,
front is
doesn't it?
done. Yeah, he took a big swipe in the left-hand side, so not sure if the pair of Caymans came down on the inside there.
Well, Bell
looked
had
like
gone around Hall.
Yeah, I wonder if he was trying to make a
Bell's
move on
broken
both of
too.
them.
That right front on Bell's broken too.
Wonder if Bell was trying to make a move on Hall and just couldn't get it slowed down at apex as Quinlan was turning in.
Yeah. Well, Quinlan is able to get it to move, but the question is how far and where does it stop?
He's heading for that safe haven there over in the break in the wall.
You hate to see any driver or team have some misfortune, but one guy who would welcome a full course caution big time is named Burton.
Yeah, I'd get him back in the mix.
So far, though, we are staying green. It's curious. Ooh, Terry got that curb pretty good. Really unloaded the car. Those S's, there's not a lot you can do with that sometimes if you're the pursuing car. So we're into our final 20 minutes. Dynan working the inside. He's got his nose there.
Oh, he touches him, I think. There may have been a little brush there with the left rear fender and right front of Michael Dynan. This is getting really dicey. Michael Dynan's got to be careful. You have to do 70% of the race distance to score points. I don't think we're quite there yet. Getting close, though.
Terry was all over the track there, but after a touch like that, I think you feel like, well, I'm going to do whatever I have to here. But boy, Dynan is so close. Watch for him to make the move. Here it comes. He is alongside. Now it's a matter of getting it woed down. Terry's going to try and cut back on him, and he did a nice job of it. He's going to have the outside. Now he had to dip the brake there, and that just really nulled that momentum. But boy, what a nice move to the inside here, Cal.
He does. This is going to get really tight in a 15. You know that Paul Terry's not going to do him any favors. He's got nothing to lose right now. We see the stranded car of Jason Bell.
Boy.
Full course yellow.
Both of them sideways. Dynan saved it. Got away on Terry, but for Terry, if he can get going right now.
He just needs to stay calm, get everything refired back up.
Oh, if he can't get going, he's going to lose some spots here. He's
Should
under
be
caution.
good. Oh, there's Tony Gaples gets through. That's pivotal.
Big and,
oh, we're on the yellow, so
yeah.
I think Jason Hall's going to have to give up that position.
Yep. Not sure that Jason has gotten word yet that there is a full course caution. He is really flying right now, but yeah, he may have to give that up, but certainly Gaples won't.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Flying Lizard team didn't try and keep Michael Dynan a little bit more patient in terms of, you know, ensuring that he scores points. If he got into trouble there with Paul Terry and suddenly he didn't get to that 70% mark, we're at 65% right now, so we need another couple more minutes of racing to ensure that, but I think he just had his racer's head on there and was going for it.
Yeah, and both Terry and Dynan were sideways in that. It just, Terry's was a little bit more rotation to the point he couldn't quite handle that. And this is an interesting development as well, because if Cooper was saving tires and Stavely was working really hard trying to stay with him, this is an opportunity for Stavely to cool those Pirellis off and go after it here. Yeah, Jason Bell can't move, and you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure that the right front corner was broken.
Yeah. Just where they were stacked up, I would imagine that maybe Jason was trying to make a move down inside Jason Hall and just got in there super deep. We see it very late there, of course. So I think as maybe Bell was making a late move on Hall, couldn't get it slowed down without laying the blame on his door just yet, without a better shot of the action.
Well, the dynamic certainly would work. I mean, and we've seen it. You get way down to the inside like that. You know, it's dustier. The grip's not there. And the natural tendency is to just keep hammering the brakes. And as you've talked about it, that you get to a certain point with that ABS where you're in it so hard and you're still going too quick, and it just numbs it, right? Just kind of numbs the front end.
It feels numb, and it's basically taking away braking pressure to stop the tires from locking up. So if the other guys are got the adhesion and the brake and tires working together, they're going to be slowing down more effectively. It's starting to get a little bit feisty there, wasn't it?
Well, it was. Somebody, second to the last event of the season. You 2 weeks' time is the season finale at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All part of the Indianapolis 8-hour weekend for SRO's Intercontinental GT Challenge. And
there's Jeff Burton now catching up to the pack, so gonna have a chance to reset. He's gonna have a lot of work to do, though, if he's going to have any effect. I mean, basically, Terry has got to get around Dynan, and then Burton's got to get up with him as well, so he's got to cut through both Jason Hall and somehow get to the front of the pack here.
Yeah, and you can see Terry now in front of Jason Hall. I think the word got to the team that the yellow had come out, and in fact, Terry was back on track and moving.
So it's not impossible, but it's going to take Paul Terry to be really aggressive on Michael Dynan to try and keep this championship open to Indianapolis. I think he's capable of that.
I think he's sure going to give it a go. That's for sure. And I think kind of the wild card here is Gaples, not in the sense that he doesn't have the pace to be able to fend Terry off and hang on and the like, but is that McLaren up to it? Cooper's 2:17.499, still the quickest lap, but only by a tenth over Stavely. And Paul Terry, he's the only other guy into the 2:17s.
Yeah, so he's got pace. I think we asked him, you know, if you start to overdrive it, then it gets a bit lurid, doesn't it? I mean, if you keep the tire underneath you, it looks pretty controlled, but as soon as you step over that mark, it then starts to move around a lot through the tighter sections.
Well, we've been speculating about what's going on with Tony, and Ryan has some more information for us.
Well, this caution gave the team a chance to get a more detailed debrief from Tony on what he's experiencing. And evidently, there was the one main issue that we talked about with the false neutral, and the details that he was able to provide was that the car has been feeling a little bit weird subsequent to that it hasn't done the full false neutral that we saw in that one instance. And so, as far as they're concerned, they expect that was kind of a one-off situation. The hope is that the weird situation that he's describing doesn't progress and get worse as we go along, but certainly running under the safety car, the more time that they can run off probably is in their favor here, just to prevent putting more strain on that race car.
Yeah, that would make certain sense here. You reduce all of the stress and load and the like, whatever that problem might be. Looks like lights might be out on the Acura NSX. It's such a great service as the official safety vehicle.
Lights are out, so I wonder if the drivers got a little bit of a warning yesterday. We saw Drew Stavely really doing some tire scrubbing right up to the launch point off of turn 20. And driver briefing notes I read before the weekend said lights out turn 11 and tire scrub has to stop right here in turn 12. So
half the field was doing it yesterday, weren't they?
Well, as we said, once one does it in front of you, it's like you feel you have to
exactly.
do the same thing.
Exactly.
One person who wasn't doing it yesterday was Michael Cooper. Really, by weaving around like that, you're really just cleaning the tires off. You're not really warming them up. So lights are out, so you must be confident they're going to get that flatbed moved out of the way pretty quickly here. Not sure if there's an easy access point to do if it's all strapped on and loaded. You've got basically a couple of minutes to make that move.
And once the field's under control, and you can just drive that flatbed right across track into a safe haven, as they call them. All right, here we go. Interesting to see the approaches here at turn 20 on the restarts, which happen much closer. But you can, they said you can roll into the throttle at the apex of 20. It's going to be a matter of did Cooper try and swing as we are back to green, a big arc and go early or whatever. And Stavely has stayed right with him, Cal.
He has. And Michael still feels that he needs to clean those tires up a little bit as we're under green, and he felt he had enough of a margin there to be able to do that and ensure that the tires are going to be good by the time he turns into turn 1. So smart driving there by Michael Cooper to ensure that the car would be underneath him.
10 minutes to go here.
Little twitch there by Cooper. Stavely's right on him, and his car has come to life a little bit quicker than Michael Cooper, so Cooper could be in trouble here and vulnerable. Look at him working the wheel.
This is where Stavely, as they get up into 6, 7, 8, and 9, he's shown some real turns of speed. Look at this, he's going to look to the inside. Cooper covers it, but watch Stavely straighten it up here. Got the throttle early. He's got to run.
He does. You don't see Michael Cooper working the wheel like he's had to do on this restart lap here. Stavely's probing, looking down to the inside, gives it up. Going to really focus on the launch. I'm sure that Cooper feels if he can just stay in the lead for a lap, he can settle back in again.
There's Dynan leading in the AM category, staying with it here, and I'm a little bit surprised that Burton isn't right on the rear deck there of Hall at this stage.
Well, testimony to the job that Jason Hall is doing here today and his pace.
That was a great restart.
Tony Gaples now closing in on Michael Dynan. Does he have a say in this win here today? Could it be a double win for Black Dog?
Oh, how huge would that be? And also for Tony, missing all those races due to that eye surgery, he would be able to do it. Watching Stavely here, working different angles, different lines, trying to figure out where might I be able to do something here.
And I think Michael's car suddenly got back into its groove a little bit. He was really struggling to keep the car underneath him there for that opening half lap.
He obviously, ooh, a little twitch there, but he obviously felt that, as you noted how aggressive he was trying to clean his tires even after the green. But Stavely's there again. He's so close.
Let's see the power go down. Oh, Gaples is wide.
Way wide, yep.
Terry's through. Hall's going to have a run on him as well on the approach to turn 1, you'd have to feel.
Well, this could be interesting. With Terry and Dynan. Big move by Hall down to the inside of Tony. Can he make it work?
He's deep and he keeps it together. Nice move by Jason Hall. What a run he's putting in this morning.
He is. This is impressive. And Burton now looking at trying to work his way through on Tony. Just gets to the inside of that chicane. Abel returns in favor.
Ooh, that was close though as he cut through that corner. Almost got into the side of the Aston Martin. Fantastic racing here. This has been the race of the weekend so far.
Absolutely it has. Hall and then Nola Sport Porsche is doing a superb job. Meanwhile, up to the front. The interesting thing here is going to be what kind of pace Dynan and Terry have. We'll keep an eye on those lap times next time through.
I'd say the Hall is showing his oats, right?
You could say that.
Well, the Black Dog Speed Shop team, I think they're a little bit stressed here in terms of can we get another victory? They know the championship is theirs, but that doesn't stop a group like that from wanting a little bit more. They'd love to sweep the final rounds of this championship. 3 to go, including today.
Ooh, Michael a little wide of the apex there. He's feeling the pressure.
Yeah, such an interesting sector here in terms of the different lines and approaches you can get through here with. And that high-speed, loaded, triple right-hander.
Stavely gets through that corner really well.
Yeah, his car is really working on that GT4 Mustang. Really delivers a lot of downforce, looks to the inside.
Cal, I think had he not at that exit at 19, he had just that little bit of a moment that he had to catch. I think if that wouldn't happen, he was going to go to the apex and try that pass.
You got to go for it. I mean, I know he treats Michael Cooper with a lot of respect, but for Drew Stavely, you know he wants to grab another win here today.
Oh, you bet. Times here, Dynan at 2:18.5, Terry at 2:19 flat. Dynan making a statement on that.
Yes, a big statement on the year as well.
Absolutely.
I And he's had 9 wins in Sprint and 5 in Sprint X. So if he wins here now, it'll be his 10th in class and 15 for the season in SRO competition.
This is interesting. Now watch this next corner here that Drew gets a great run through. His line through there, the power down. Just never quite close enough.
Cooper's ability to just withstand this type of pressure and not crack and make that crucial error is remarkable.
It is.
It's one thing to do it for 5-10 minutes, but it's like 50-minute blocks of time that they keep seem to be repeating week in, week out. It's amazing.
There's the Ian Lacey G3 Racing team. Fascinated at what's unfolding. Everybody's all in there as well. Dynan has now really just locked in that 3rd overall, and as you said, 10th win if he hangs on here as we're coming up to our final 4 minutes.
If you got anything left, you can certainly use your tires up now, so nothing to save them for. Go for it. See if Michael Cooper can try and get a little bit more comfortable margin here in these last couple of laps here to seal the deal.
Burton attacking on Tony. Just saw Burton leave a couple of big black stripes. So he's pushing hard, but Jason Hall is driven away from both Gaples and Burton.
He's now in that podium position.
That is impressive. Right here. And he's not as close as he was last time, however. In the front straight, our race vision powered by AWS. Gaples quickest in the AM class down that straight. So next time by, they'll be getting the white flag. So 2 laps essentially for Stavely to come up with some magic. 2 laps for Cooper to try and do a disappearing act.
Yep, and even in the overall stakes, you can see there Tony Gaples really, I'm not sure if they got his car trimmed out, maybe a little bit more than Michael Cooper. But you can see he's been right at the top of the charts all day long.
Ooh, Drew, a little wide there.
That was crucial. That was crucial. He's out in the gray there. Manages to regroup and keep the pressure on now. I thought he's going to drop a couple of car lengths with that move.
Let's see right here.
You know, it's all about having the speed in the right places to get the position, but I actually think on a clear lap, Stavely may have a little bit more pace than Michael Cooper.
Look at this, Gaples now with Burton following him have caught up again with Hall. Staples going to take a look. Not quite close enough.
Got to be careful though. Burton's going to get a run here if he's too
Hall's
slow through the apex. And Hall, problem coming off the corner there.
Yeah. He turned in way too early for the speed he was carrying in trying to defend on Tony, and that just absolutely parked you on the exit. Tony counterpunched beautifully.
That's the podium.
Yeah. Keep a remarkable comeback streak alive for Tony. And Burton way to the
that's
inside.
going to be late.
Oh, there they go.
Glancing blow.
At the last second, Tony was able to see him. But that's what I'm talking about. You get so far to the inside. Oh. And then Hall tapped hard by Burton.
Yeah, stuck his nose in there and just clipped him around. That's a shame. That really spoiled a great day for Jason Hall.
Yeah, he had that little mistake up in 11, but then Tony and Jeff had their little bit of a moment, and it looked good for Hall here.
Just late, Jeff just releases the brakes to get down the inside, and that's the inevitable when you got someone a couple of car lengths ahead just going for apex. They can't see you. You're coming just so far out of their peripheral vision and their side view mirrors.
And then we've talked about it throughout the course of the weekend. When you run way off into these runoff areas, when you come back on, you have to be very careful about where you place your car, because Hall was committed to the line. I never would have thought that they'd be back inside me that quickly. So, yeah, it's tough. All right, final lap for Michael Cooper. Going after... It's just the run he's put together here is phenomenal.
Drew's hanging out right now, just trying to stick with Michael Cooper, but a bit lured there in this final lap. He's still close enough, but Michael Cooper's going to have to make that crucial error, and we haven't seen it, I don't think, this season, let alone today.
Well, I don't think Michael was showing everything to Stavely in 8 and 9. Stavely would make up a lot of ground in that sequence, and then on these last couple of laps here, Michael has changed his line completely through there, and it's just been a rocket ship as well. There's Dynan going for his 10th win on the season and a championship clinch, but here we go. Drew's too far back to do anything here, so I would think maybe something, if he can get through 16, 17, 18, and 19 well, that's where he carries some more speed. Be his one opportunity.
Well, you know he's going to give it 1,000,000%, but I don't think he's going to make anything too desperate here and risk taking the cars out.
No, that's not how Drew runs. All right, here we go. This is where he needs to just float huge speed. Get through 19 as well as he has at other points here.
He just lost the front end a little bit in the middle of that sequence. Still close here. Does he dive down into turn 20? Will Michael have to try and defend it? Oh, he threw it through that corner.
That's it. He tried, though. He gave it everything he possibly could. But on to the front straight we go. Another three-peat of a weekend for McLaren, Black Dog, and Michael Cooper. And here comes your AM champion, Michael Dynan, coming through, picking up his 10th win on the year for Flying Lizard and Aston Martin. That gave him pole here. Now, that was fast lap from yesterday, but still, that's pretty impressive. He's lowered that by 4/10 here to get the fast lap today.
Yeah, a little bit cooler here this morning, ideal conditions, and just a tremendous race. I mean, those two guys are running at the highest level, and it's an intense 50-minute session.
And for Dynan coming from last to first, and again, he didn't just burn the car down early coming through. He just picked them off one by one, made sure he kept that car underneath him, and ends up getting in front, bringing himself another win and a championship. And that's some of that racecraft that we've seen from Dynan this year that maybe in the past he hasn't had, but it's paying off. Yeah,
I was concerned about the timing of when he put the pressure on Paul Terry, because he wasn't quite at the 70% mark to guarantee points here today. But he has such a margin, you know, he's probably thinking, you know what, it's not going to go completely pear-shaped. Go racing today and have another win.
Look at some highlights from round 14 of the championship, and
watch
Stavely,
this. Watch how close that is, right there. He nearly got into the tail of the McLaren there, and that would have turned him. That would have changed this race completely.
Big time. Starting to settle in, and Dynan's quickly off, picking up 2 spots right away. And it was this close and this fierce. There's Terry, Tony Gable, Sean Quinlan, and Dynan right there already picking up a few spots. It was just some great racing in the early going, then things settled a bit, and then it got hot again. Right there, Dynan crossed up. He almost got into Quinlan.
Yeah, he was trying to make some moves early, trying to get as many positions on this opening lap as he could, starting from the tail end of the field in no qualifying time from yesterday.
He eventually got through, moved up into third. Right there, you can see Burton just a little bit too much of an ask. He got up on that entrance curb and it snapped the car around. Then Jason Bell, big aggressive move, some contact, and then more contact here. Tony seeing him at the last moment. And it looks like, okay, they're good. Hall's going to go through, but it wasn't done yet, Cal.
No, they kept battling, and right there, Jeff Burton just pokes his nose in as Jason is turning for apex. Bit of a mistake there in the last couple of corners. Rodeo ride for Drew Stavely.
He threw everything at it, just not enough, finishing again a close second to your 4-time champion, effective this weekend, Michael Cooper. And in the background, here comes Michael Dynan to win and get the championship for himself and for Flying Lizard. But boy, once again, just seeing some remarkable drives, strategy, and fierce competition.
It was great as Michael Dynan celebrates his first pro championship. Congratulations, awesome stuff.
So let's see. He has 2 wins on a 3-weekend weekend, but in the middle he is able to fulfill a very important personal thing, then come back and get a championship. That's not bad.
It isn't bad at all. When I say pro championship at the pro level,
right.
He's running in the AM class, of course, but nonetheless, it's been the tale of the 2 Michaels this year. 11 wins now for Cooper, 10 for Dynan.
Yeah, they have been just remarkable, no question about it. And there you see the EV crews that are on site to help with getting Burton's car, and obviously that contact, and there was contact on both corners there, obviously, in that. You got the right side with Gaples and then the left side with Hall, so
it's a little bruised.
Exactly, and the fact he was able to get it across the finish line.
If it was an apple, you wouldn't want to eat it right now.
Yeah, no. The light helmets, Black Dog Performance Cars, McLaren. That is a sharp-looking machine, and it is held by a sharp driver.
No question about it. Putting together something of a dream season as well. Michael Cooper, yesterday you took care of the drivers, teams, and manufacturers championship. Today you added win number 11. When you have those championships in hand, does that let the team be a little more loose? Do you get to enjoy it a little bit more without so much pressure on you?
You know, I think this weekend felt different coming into it with Spencer Pompelli not being here. It was the closest in the championship, and we've been fighting back and forth the last 2 years. You know, we just kind of had to get points this weekend, but, you know, we came in and we maximized the points, got out of here with 3 wins. And, you know, this team just operates at such a high level all the time. Black Dog Speed Shop, I think this is the 5th Drivers' Championship, and probably somewhere around there in the team, and I think the 3rd Manufacturers' Championship they've collected. So, you know, they're just an awesome group, and they get it done week in, week out. Pressure or no pressure, it doesn't matter.
We look forward to seeing you at the next round at Indy.
Yeah, I want to say happy birthday to Drew Stavely, and happy birthday to you, Ryan Marine.
Thank you, Michael.
Enjoy it, guys.
Yeah, really cool. Great guy, and what a competitor. That is the team's 41st win in GTS GT4 competition in this series. That's pretty remarkable. And, you know, coming into this weekend, Michael was already a 3-time champion and had won in each division in World Challenge. Now he's a 4-time champion. You can make an argument it's in 4 divisions because one of those was in GTS. Now in GT4, what I'm getting at, it doesn't matter what he drives.
No. He's one of the best, and congratulations on another brilliant season.
Yeah, without doubt. Speaking of brilliant seasons, I'll tell you what, we have watched this guy come to full maturity this year, Ryan Moraine. Michael Dinan, a champ.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, Greg. Champion, Michael Dinan, congratulations. What an amazing season that you put together. What is the significance of this achievement, clinching this championship with still 2 races to go?
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm proud of, super happy. Under this mask, huge smiles. It's just another step along the way. Obviously, last year was a big learning experience, same is said for this year. So another step towards my ultimate goals in racing, and really happy to have this clinched, but still looking forward to Indy. Sprint X Championship is down to the wire, so it's going to be a great last race weekend.
You had a great battle with Paul there. Even though if you had run second, you still would have been able to clinch the championship. I know you wanted that win. You two were exchanging some pleasantries afterwards, both kind of, I think, enjoying that experience racing door to door, right?
Yeah, Paul's a great racer. I've had an amazing time racing wheel to wheel with him all season. He keeps it clean. Super nice guy, and obviously it's nice to win the championship with a race win. So overall, just amazing season. Everyone at Flying Lizard's done an incredible job. Whole team, Jim Bell, Robbie, my co-driver, as well as my coach, has been guiding me through my racing career since I started 4 years ago, and definitely nice to have this achievement to kind of signify or represent all the hard work we've put in together.
Congratulations on the win, the championship, and we'll see you in Indianapolis.
Thanks, Ryan. Look forward to it.
Yeah, what a year. And, you know, heading into Indy now, both Michaels, you know, the pressure's off of making sure that they lock in those championships. So they, you know, there are times you say, well, now they can go have fun, but I'm not sure you can have much more fun than what they've been having.
It's been a remarkable season for them both, and congratulations on the championships. The icing on the cake for Michael Dinan, as he said, is to get the race victory along with the championship. So they'd like to add a few more sprinkles with a couple of wins, but there's a lot on the line for Michael Dinan with that Indianapolis weekend, of course, because he is very much in the mix with his teammate Robbie Foley for the GT4 Sprint X Championship. Yep. Just a few points behind the NOLA Sport guys, so that'll be a fun one.
It will. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a mega weekend on a lot of levels, and seeing these guys go at it once again, you never get enough of this stuff. And at the same time, you should take a look at those AM points. You can see the margin that Michael Dinan has. What we're going to see from the Sprint X side of the GT4 Championship. The Pirelli GT4 America Championship is going to be superb as well, and can't wait to get there. It's going to be a wonderful weekend of racing, but this one has been great. And it's, you know, unique. You don't often, in road racing at any rate, come back to a same track sometimes. And to be able to come back here and do it again. But, well, I'll tell you, people are looking forward to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I know. If there's anything like the show they put on today, it's going to be another good one. But some great battles there, some great performances, and I think probably the most disappointed driver in the paddock right now would be Jason Hall, because he thoroughly deserved that podium run here today. Unfortunately, had that contact towards the end.
Yeah, he did a brilliant job. Jason Hart has worked with him, and boy, it was about to come good, and it will. You'll see those podiums pretty soon. Thanks for joining us here at Circuit of the Americas. We'll see you from Indy.